We're live, and here we are.
Ta-da!
The Instigators Hockey Show. Check out this shirt, bro.
Awesome!
It is from, hold on, I want to get this right. Good friend of mine, Island Printing Services on Long Island, printed these shirts. They're amazing. I got one for you, actually, courtesy of Island Printing. I'm going to send it to you. I love them. I think it's awesome.
I think it looks awesome. Very intimidating.
Designed by Cody Kotsopoulos.
Yep. You're not getting a dime, kid. So go, you know what, yourself.
So it's been a little while, and you know,
where the hell you been?
I appreciate everyone's patience. Well, I had to fly up to New York, take care of some things, some personal things. I closed on my new house. So I had to move from my apartment to a house. It took me a couple weeks to do that. Then I had some business. I had to go out to Las Vegas. That was a week. Came back from Vegas, and here I am, man, in the flesh. But it's good to be back. And I know you went on like a world rock tour for about 2 weeks there.
Lisa and I, we like going to rock concerts. There's some good local places to go around here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and we've been taking them in. And there's more to come too. We're going to be going on holidays. Like we're leaving tomorrow, heading out to South Carolina, visit a couple of good friends of ours that used to be big Ranger fans, and Ed and Jackie will be there. Just letting you know tomorrow. We'll be there for 3 days, and it'll be nothing but a drink fest.
Well, I got Barry in the chat room. I did want to say, hopefully, come playoffs, maybe a little bit earlier, I will have the brand new studio for the Instigators Hockey Show. Very excited about that. I'm actually sitting in my desk chair, and I'm at my desk right now. I'm just not in the new studio. It's still getting painted and stuff like that. So
you don't want to talk about that, do you? About owning a house and trying to get shit done.
It's been fun, but I do have my lion behind me because I am a Leo.
It's not Clarence the Clarside Lion, is it? No, I'm just showing my age there. Doc Tyree.
So, other than the personal stuff, you know, it's been fun. It's been a day for me here, so we're gonna get going right away. So, just to let everybody know, Kotzi, you know, we usually, you know, I get home. I ran home today. I was eating pasta out of a pot, stuffed with Kotzi, and you know.
Listen, folks, he looked like he was in that show, Man versus Food. You know, we're looking at each other here, and he's just scarfing the food down like he's got 3 minutes to eat it all. It was fun.
Yeah, well, I felt like I did.
That's the life of Paulie right there.
It's been I've been on the go, man. I gotta tell you, I've been on the go. So, with that being said, Kotzi wants to open this Instigators Hockey Show up, but first I got to start real quick. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. It's over here. That's Chris Kotsopoulos. I'm Paulie D. Obviously, if you followed us on Blog Talk Radio for many years, the Instigators Hockey Show was one of the best. Now we're in the podcast world. Excited about all the things that we have going on. I just want to thank everybody who stayed in tune. And I know, you know, it's hard to follow a show when we're, you know, 4 or 6 weeks and you don't see us, and then you'll see us for 4 or 6 weeks. But we're getting this thing moving. Really enjoy the StreamYard as well. I got to tell you, Barry Shelley, what a fantastic guy. Love his podcast. The guy does a lot of work. He's just fabulous. So, Barry, we love you, and thanks for the support of the program. But we got to get started here.
Hold it.
Go ahead.
We got to thank Beth Leon Penny, too.
Beth.
Wow.
That goes without saying. I usually do that at the end.
She's like the number one Ranger fan. She's always posting stuff for herself and us.
Yes.
So, and wishing you good health, Beth.
Yes. Beth, you're almost there. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you do for the program.
I got to get her address. I keep saying this to you. Get her address. I'm going to mail her something, okay? So
perfect.
after the show, get the address for me. I'm going to mail something to her.
You got it. I got my beer, my favorite, as always.
I got my non-alcoholic drink tonight, people, because I do have to catch a flight tomorrow, so I don't want to.
I'd love to see them sponsor and put some money in the pocket, but anyway, Chris called. We're talking. Me and Chris are talking. Chris says, "Hey, did you see the Vegas odds on the Stanley Cup?" I said, "No, I haven't seen it." So I opened it up, the New York Post today, and sure enough, the Vegas odds, or the odds for the Stanley Cup winner of the 21-22 Stanley Cup. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the West as strong as the East, but the number one ranked team to win the Stanley Cup, Colorado Avalanche. Katsi, how do you feel about that? Do you think they're a Stanley Cup, like they're a shoo-in for to win the Stanley Cup?
No, I don't think anybody's a shoo-in, or we'd be mortgaging the house and stuff like that. I'd mortgage your new house too. So they're probably the best team out in the West right now. I mean, that between them and Calgary, I think are probably the top two teams out there right now, in my opinion. But you're right. I think the East is more heavy, more loaded with top teams. But you got to remember one thing, Paulie. One team's coming out of the West no matter what. So could be them, could be Calgary, could be anybody in the West, could be anybody in the East. It's one of those years that teams, the only two teams that have really dominated all year, technically, when you really think about it, have always been up at the top are Florida and Carolina.
Right.
Every other team has had their little kick at the can. Like Tampa was up there for a while, but now Tampa's taking a little bit of a shit lately. You know what I mean? They're not as high up in the standings anymore. I mean, they're still a dominant force, but they're not up there anymore. So yeah, I can see Colorado. I can see that.
So let's do this real quick. We'll go through the top. Let's go through the top 10 real quick. Then maybe we'll ease into who's hot and who's not. So Colorado Avalanche plus 375 odds. Florida Panthers are ranked number 2, 550 plus 550. Then the Flames, as you mentioned, they're a heavy team. 900. Tampa Bay Lightning actually tied with the Flames, both plus 900. Then Carolina at plus 1,000. Toronto 1,200, which this is where I don't agree. I'll give you the top 1, 2, 3, 4 because I feel like Calgary and Tampa are tied, and then Carolina definitely, so 5. Toronto, Boston, and Pittsburgh are the next 3. And then the New York Rangers. And I don't feel that Pittsburgh or Boston should rank above the New York Rangers right now. The Rangers have beat Pittsburgh several times and have beat them good. I don't know exactly what the record is against Toronto, but I feel like it's definitely 500.
Yeah. Pretty close.
So, I mean, if we keep going on, after the Rangers ranked at, let me give you a number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'd say ranked 9, actually 8, because they got 2 teams tied at plus 900.
So the Rangers are what? The Rangers are ranked 9th?
Yeah.
Wow. I would agree with you. I think as of this moment, they should be ahead of Pittsburgh. They should be ahead of Boston. And they probably should be at least even with the Leafs, or maybe ahead of the Leafs.
I wouldn't disagree.
You know what I mean?
So the way Tampa and Calgary are ranked actually together at around 4.
Here's where you and I get into our little debate and our little arguments. I mean, I respect what Tampa's done over the last couple of years.
Right.
But their record does not show that they should be ranked 4th right now, or 3rd, or whatever they are.
I wouldn't disagree.
It doesn't. But what they're counting on is that old saying, "You got to beat the champ." And they're the champs. So that's why they are where they are. I mean, they're still. I agree with you. They're going to be tough, formidable, all that crap. But I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm sticking by what I said from the beginning. Somebody will beat them this year.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
I know you're going to give me the old "I told you so" if they win the Stanley Cup for the Triple Crown. But
no, I mean,
I just know somebody's going to beat them this year.
I don't disagree, Kotz. I do think, though, what I will say is that I think they will be beat this year. But I still think they're a hell of a team. They got.
I'm not debating that. I agree with you. I just had that. It's tough to win 3 in a row.
I know.
Pittsburgh won 2 in a row way back when, and they couldn't come back for the 3rd one. Washington finally won their one and only one under Ovechkin. Where have they been since then? It's not that easy to win 2 in a row, let alone 3 in a row.
Kotz, how do you feel about the Florida Panthers, though, being ranked number 2 to win the Cup?
I listen. They gave. I know I'm like Pete and repeat here. I watched quite a bit of that series last year against Tampa.
Right.
And they outplayed Tampa when it comes to the north-south game. The problem was they took too many chances, and Tampa played rope-a-dope with them, and then jumped all over their mistakes and giveaways inside the center ice area. That's how Tampa won that series.
Here's the thing.
This year, Florida's a little different. They're not. They still have that north-south monstrous game.
Right.
But they're not as badly as they were last year. That's all I'm saying. So they're rightfully in the right spot.
Here's my thing with Tampa. I watched them. I watched them quite a few. I was actually Chalk Talk last. I was at the morning skate just a couple of days ago, talking to Barry. What's his name? Not Barry Englund. What's his first name? Whatever. Doesn't matter. He covers them. I forgot. Damn, what's his name?
You're talking about a commentator?
Yeah, and William. Huh? Yeah, what? I forget his first name. Anyway, so here's the thing with Tampa, and I watched them a lot. They don't usually outwork the other team, Kotze. The thing is they're fantastic in their capitalization. They capitalize on their chances. They could be down a goal, give them a power play opportunity, and they're going to bury it. That's the difference with them. They don't outwork a lot of teams. I watched them play the Islanders last Sunday, and the Islanders.
They were lucky to beat the Islanders in the playoffs last year. Remember?
Yeah, but the Islanders outworked them. And Barry Trotz got the Islanders where they're very simple one-on-one hockey. Dump it in deep, go get it, win the corner battles.
Say hi, at least you're on TV.
outwork. Tampa doesn't really outwork many teams. I haven't seen that in them, but they are fantastic in their conversion. They have so much skill that you could outplay them and lose to them any given night between
I agree with that. I mean, they didn't win 2 Stanley Cups for just for shits and giggles. I mean, they're very talented up and down. I'm just going with the old adage that it's hard to win 3. And I might as well just interject here and tell you about what I read today too. You know what Tampa's record against the top tier teams in the East is this year? Out of all the top 8 teams in the East, where do you think they rank playing each other this year?
Well, I'd be cheating because you told me already, but it
They're
was
last. They got the worst record against the East this year.
right.
Every other team, Boston, everybody above that
Right.
has a better record than Tampa does. And guess who has the best record in the East against the top 8 teams? It's the New York Rangers, believe it or not. 13-5.
That's awesome.
You know, these are, I mean, I'm not a big stat guy, but, those ones kind of startled me a little bit. I was looking at them like, what the? Really?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So my feeling is that Tampa will get beat. That's all there is to it. I'm standing by it. You can all yell at me and scream at me and throw shit at me all you want. I don't really care. I think they're going to get beat this year.
Hold on one second. I mean, you can keep going. I'm typing.
That's just how I feel about that. I think they're going to get beat. There's so many really, really good teams on any given night. Like when you talk about, your Tampas, you talk about your I hate saying the Capitals because nobody's paying attention to them, and I don't pay attention because I can't stand them. But that's probably a good thing for them that nobody's paying attention to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every year it's the Alex Ovechkin this, it's the Alex Ovechkin that, it's the Alex Ovechkin this, which it still makes me sick.
Right.
But nobody's talking about them. Nobody's talking about the Washington Capitals. And yet they're sitting there in 8th spot. They're going to be in no matter what. They might move up a little. They might stay where they are. But do you want to face them in the first round?
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to be tough coming out of the East, and I think every team in the East is right now is probably wondering who they're going to play and who they match up better against.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because there's certain teams that play better against each other than other teams. You know what I mean?
And it's something I want to talk about, to be honest with you, because again, you look at Carolina. To me, Carolina is the beast of the East. And, it's funny because in the beginning of the year, you and I were like, well, who is, what is Carolina? Who's Carolina?
I still don't even know who their best players other than Aho.
But I got to tell you, they scare me for a matchup against the Rangers.
You know what happened the other night, though? Did you see what happened where Tom Wilson racked up one of his nice hits there, and ex-Ranger Smith went after him, and they fought, and Tom Wilson beat the shit out of him pretty good, but at least Smith stood up. But I think that was a telltale sign about how you're going to beat Carolina, though. They really don't have a lot of toughness on that team. They got a lot of speed and a lot of quick guys and a lot of talent, but
right.
If you want to beat Carolina, you got to slow the game down, and you got to grind, and you got to hit, and you got to dump the puck in, and you got to hit those defensemen every shift to slow them down, and hope that you slow them down enough that it goes on to a 6-7 game series.
Right.
That's the only way you're going to beat them.
Yeah, you got to ground and pound that team. You definitely. I couldn't agree with you more. If you don't play them, if you don't play them physically and really grind them up, they're gonna exploit you in the speed and through the neutral zone. No doubt about it.
And you can get away with a little bit more in the playoffs. We see that every year. What's called during the regular season. Well, I shouldn't say that because sometimes it's not even called the regular season, but in the playoffs, they get a little more lenient. You can get away with a little more dirty stuff and a little bit more, that stuff that the NHL tries to hide but doesn't do a good enough job. But that's it with that. I mean, you look at Boston. Boston's played pretty good the last probably month and a half, though, Paulie. They were sucking wind there for a while, pretty close to not, below number 8 in the standings, but now they're breathing right down everybody's neck. They're within reach of probably number 5, even number 4 spot, with this many games to go. So it's a rat race going towards the end of the season now. I mean, the Rangers have won some really, really big games over the past 3 weeks, but the actual gainage in points is only like minimal, 2, maybe 4 points.
Yeah. Well, before we do Rangers, I want to do a couple other things because there's a lot to talk about with the New York Rangers, no doubt about it. I'm very impressed, and it takes a lot to impress me when it comes to the Rangers. But I feel like we've run into hot and not. I don't know if you want to continue on. We could kind of combine.
Well, who's hot is Roman Yossi.
Yeah, I know you wanted to talk about.
My God. I mean, when's the last time you heard of anybody scoring like 28 points or 24 points in 12 games? I don't know what it was. The NHL as a defenseman, and he just jumps right out. But I never paid much attention to him at all until the Olympics one year. And boy, oh boy, this guy's a good player. And sometimes you play on a team that's not a big city market. You kind of get hidden.
Right.
But he's odds-on favorite to win the Norris Trophy. I think he probably deserves it. I mean, he's potentially going to get 100 points. And I don't remember the last time a defenseman scored 100 points in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
That'd be a good question for somebody out there.
Was it your favorite over in Detroit, like Nicholas? What's his name?
I don't think he ever scored 100 points. I don't think he ever scored 100 points.
Lidstrom. All right.
If Lidstrom scored 100 points, I can guarantee you one thing. I had amnesia. Okay. That's what I do that.
Hey, listen. Before Washington and Alex Ovechkin, Gotze used to hate the Detroit Red Wings.
Well, the league changed for it. The whole league changed for the Europeans. Let's call it what it is. Call it what it is. All of a sudden, Detroit went from the Lee Norwoods to Harold Schnepps, the Bobby Proberts, the Joey Korsich, the Gerard Gallants, to all of a sudden, what flavor European you want on? That's when they started taking out the fighting. That's when they started taking out all the goonery. That's when they started putting in the instigator rule just to protect these guys so they could play in the National Hockey League. And if anybody thinks I'm full of shit on that, they're wrong. They're lying to themselves. The league changed just for them. And Kenny Holland, who was a goaltender that I went to training camp a few times with in Hartford, was smart enough to see this coming. So he got rid of all the physical stuff. Sure, he added Darren McCarty a little later. You know what I mean? Just in case, and picked up Joey Kosher at the end. But in between, yeah, I got a right to beef about that because they changed the game so the Europeans can come play here. That's the way it goes.
Well, I will tell you this. The only other Western team that's in the top 10 is the Minnesota Wild. Now, when it comes to the Vegas odds of winning the Stanley Cup at 2,000 plus 2,000.
Look, are they even in a playoff spot right now, Minnesota, or what? I mean, they were rolling along at one time, but then they dropped out of it.
Yeah, I believe they are. I believe.
You better go check.
Okay. I'll do that right now. But with that being said, what do you think about the pickup of Marc-Andre Fleury?
Well, he's got it. He's got rings, and he's got he's got the pedigree of being a big time goalie when it counts. So but it kind of shocked me a little bit. I like they were setting goal. But apparently they didn't think so.
Let's see here, buddy.
Wow. I don't think Minnesota's up high there. They may be in a playoff spot, but they might be right around 6 to 8.
Well, I hate to tell you, but they're ranked second in the Western and the Central. So
is that because of that stupid rule that a team that might have more points than them, but because of their division, I know how that works. Yeah, okay.
No, Tots. They got 86 points. Colorado's got 100. They have 86. They're actually just 2 points behind Calgary, and then Los Angeles and Edmonton.
Los Angeles is not going to make it.
And then you got the wild card. You got Nashville. Vegas. And
but I think isn't Vegas leading their division too, though?
yes.
See, that's why I'm all mixed up on that. When I look at it, sometimes you can have less points and be ranked higher because of where you are in the standings in your thing, your division.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so Minnesota. I don't know. What do you think about Minnesota?
Well, St. Louis is, so listen, you got Colorado at 100 points.
Who are the top 8 in that division, in that West?
I'm trying to give it to you. Ready? Number 1 is Colorado with 100 points. Number 2 is Calgary with 88 points. Number 3 is Minnesota with 86 points. Number 4 is St. Louis with 83 points. Number 7 is Los Angeles with 82 points. And number 8 is Edmonton with 81 points.
Okay, now go to the division leaders.
Yep. So the reason Nashville's number 1 in the wild card is because they have 82 points. But everybody else is in the 70s. So let me see here if I can get this ranked properly. Give me 1 second. So divisions. Let me get it ranked up here once this thing loads up. So
oh my God! I just looked at the score on my TV. I think I'm not positive, but I think Boston's beating New Jersey 8-1 or something like that.
I'll open up the scoring in a minute here. Yeah, that's how it's ranked, Cots.
Okay, but who's when you forget the top 8 now, division wise, each division in the West, who's leading each division in the West?
Okay, ready? Here we go. Division.
Colorado.
All right. So Colorado is leading the Central.
Okay.
Calgary's leading the Pacific. Right?
Yep.
So now I kind of got to look at this a little. The top 3 in the Pacific are Calgary, Los Angeles, and Edmonton. 88, 82, and 81. And then the top 3 in the Western Central is Colorado, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Nashville. Nashville's ranked number 4 in the Central. And then Vegas is ranked number 4 in the Pacific. It looks like Edmonton's going to make the playoffs if they keep it up.
Well, they got a big road to go on too, Paulie, because I'm going to stand by what I said. You got Draisaitl, you got this, you got that. You've had him there for 7-8 years, and you've won squat. Sorry.
Right.
Time to show up, boys.
No, I don't disagree. Toronto. I mean, so, right now, this is where I don't understand. Toronto and Boston are at 89 and 87 points. The Rangers are at 93 points.
Yeah.
And they're both ranked higher today to win the Stanley Cup. I don't get it.
Oh.
And you're right. Boston is beating New Jersey right now 8-1. Toronto is over Winnipeg 5-3, which you wanted to make a comment about. That's a good game. That game should be nationally published.
Winnipeg's scratching and clawing trying to get in the playoffs. I think they're a couple points out. They had a lot of bullshit going on the last game between the two. And Wayne Simmons came out today or before the game saying that he's looking forward to this one, and any of that crap starts, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Because he was going to try and take care of it. So, but in the meantime, we got nothing down here to watch unless you want to pay for the overrated hockey package.
Any word on the Maple Leafs game? Yes. 5-3. Like I said, Florida's beating Chicago 3-0. I'll be at the game on Friday over here in Tampa, Chicago,
Oh,
and
you become like a little Paulie Tampa Jr. these days, eh?
I mean, I love the game. It's fun. It's fun when you don't, when you don't have a.
Hanging around with your boy Stamkos soon and all this stuff.
I love Steven Stamkos, man. Pitt and Minnesota, the big game for us over here in the East as Ranger fans, is tied at 1 end of the first period. Like to see Minnesota take that and give the Rangers a little breathing room for positioning. But we're going to have to move on, big boy.
Yes, sir. Well, you got me on that one. I thought Minnesota was struggling, so maybe they're not. Maybe they're okay, but I don't trust them as a team that can win a Stanley Cup. No.
And going out there and getting some solidified goaltending doesn't help.
I thought they were okay with Talbot and that.
I'm sorry?
Weren't they okay with Talbot and that? Up till whatever?
I guess they felt they needed something, I mean,
all right, whatever.
Did you want to? I know you mentioned a lot about Yossi.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the North?
Who else do you like as a Norris Trophy winner this year? There was a time where Makar in Colorado looked like a lock, but now Yossi's like, I don't know how many points ahead of everybody, like a dozen, 10 points ahead of the next guy. And, there was a time where Fox was right there points wise again, but he's now like 15 points behind or something like that.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at just points.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it works. Think about it. Listen, Adam Fox won the Norris Trophy last year because it was points, Paulie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. Let me see something here. Let me see if I could pull up some stats and see.
Yeah, I looked at him a little earlier today. I think Yossi's got like 80 or 81 points. I think Fox has 66, and he's third or something like that in the league. And I think Makar's in between the two of them.
Roman Yossi, 81 points total.
Yeah.
Makar's at 74. Adam Fox is 66, and Hedman's 64.
Yeah. And if I had to choose who's the really best all-around defenseman there, all around, it would be Hedman.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about both ends of the ice.
Yeah. Makar's leading with 24 goals. Hedman's got 19. And then, obviously, assists was Adam Fox is ranked second in assists. He's got 56.
His ability to foresee a play ahead of time is uncanny.
Yeah.
His passing is just incredible.
Yeah. Let's see here. Shesterkin, man. Woo! Frederick Anderson's actually got him beat 2.505 goals against average. Shesterkin's right there, 2.11.
Yeah,
save percentage.
I think he's got him on save percentage, though.
He sure does. He's got everybody by 10 or more. 936 save percentage. That's unheard of, man. And Anderson's at 927.
Well, they're both pretty good goalies. Let's call it what it is.
Oh, yeah. And then talking about Calgary, they don't have too bad a goaltending there with Markstrom either, because he's got 9 shutouts for the year.
Well, when it comes down to it, I've told you this, and I've told everybody, no matter who you are, what you are, or how great your team is up front, if your goaltending sucks in the playoffs, you're not going to win. You're going to win diddly squad.
Absolutely.
If you're a high-scoring team and you give up a lot of goals defensively, you still have to have that goalie that's okay with giving up 4 or 5 goals and winning 6-5.
Yeah.
To me, that's how you win Stanley Cups. Is your goaltender's either going to shut down the other team, or he's going to let one less in and the other guy down the other end in a high-scoring game. In the great words of Grant Fuhrer, I still remember that language yesterday what he said to me. He says he didn't know what it took to be a great goaltender. He just knew that I let one less goal in than the MFer down at the other end.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what he said. And I kind of sat there at the bar and I looked at him and looked at him. It clicked.
It's a good point.
Fucking click, people. And that's what it came down to. You know?
It's hilarious.
You know?
All right.
We were having a couple of Bacardi and Cokes too while we were talking. So
well, I think it's the moment. It's the moment. We got another 20 minutes. I think it's important to talk about it. The New York Rangers.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in.
Sure.
I gotta tell you that this team has really impressed me with the ways they can win. First of all, they have 23. I just saw the stat last night. I don't know if you knew this. 23 comeback wins. That's huge. And a lot of it, I'll tell you, nobody wants to come back. You shouldn't have to come back, but it shows me that this team never dies and they're never out of it. You know, goaltending, there's not enough we could say about Shesterkin. I mean, you know, you go from a legend in Henrik Lundqvist to this kid who has just proved himself day in and day out, game in and game out. And you know what a big Lundqvist fan I was. But now you get the goal support. You got Kreider with 46 goals, and I'm going to let you elaborate on that because we've been friends for well over 10 years now. We've got a lot that we've talked about, and Kreider's been the butt of our conversation many times, you know, but we'll get into that. I just kind of want to move through a couple of different things. I've been really impressed with the ways the Rangers have won, the ability to score when needed to in the clutch. I see a lot of clutch goal scoring. These are things that you aren't used to as a Ranger fan. I think Lafreniere in the last 2 weeks, maybe the last 10 games, has impressed me with his fortitude, his attitude, his willingness. Really has grown. And the other guy is, and we're going to elaborate on this because you have talked about this too. Keanu Miller, really, really impressed with him and his growing as quick as he's becoming a player. So I know it's a lot to chew on. Start.
Yeah, you know, like we all year, I think Ranger fans have been waiting for that shoe to drop. You know, as they say about can this continue? Can this continue with the Rangers? Well, it has continued, people. And I think they're starting to convince a lot more of the pundits, too, of the way they play. Last night was a perfect example you just mentioned about finding ways to win and coming up with clutch goals. They were getting beat up and down the ice last night, I thought, by Detroit. You know, I thought Detroit was outplaying them for probably 2.5 periods or a little bit more than 2.5 periods. Then all of a sudden, the power play goal by Kreider, it went off a skate, but who cares? They don't draw pictures on a score sheet, you know. And then you go to overtime. And you know, Panarin leads the team and is really high up there with assists, and you know, he makes a lot of great passes. He makes a lot of bad ones in the game, but you know what? Yeah. Nobody remembers that when you make the big pass for the winning goal, like you put the puck right on the tape to Kopp, and Kopp just all he had to do was tap it in. Yeah. So that's a perfect example of the Rangers. They've done that many times this year where they've looked like crap. And then all of a sudden, they have the ability to keep fighting and get back into the game and end up winning it. Right. I think with Shesterkin, again, you know, obviously he's going to take the load. I think Georgiev, obviously he struggles at times. There's no question about it. I don't think he's as bad as everybody says, but it's hard to play one game and then sit 5, play one game, sit 5. And I think everybody just waits for him to like let in a soft goal and then jump on him right away. I mean, right. Yeah, he let in a couple softies last night, but he also got screened by Fox on one, which nobody will ever mention. You know what I mean? That slaps up with a point. He got screened by Fox totally. I mean, there's nothing you can do on that one. But getting back to what you said about Keanu Miller, I'm going to leave Chris Kreider for last, okay? But Keanu Miller, I said this from the beginning. I saw a little bit of him in college, okay, playing college, and he was a force in college. He was a hitting force, a skating force, and a pretty good puck carrying force. He got to the NHL, and he really wasn't much of a hitting force, physical force for a guy his size. And a little bit of that's starting to show up now. And I'll say the same thing I said at the beginning with him. He has the ability, Paulie, to be one of the best, probably top 10 defensemen in the league if he ever finds that nastiness like Chris Pronger had.
No.
Because the game has changed. We get it. But the part about forechecker checking you close and checking you from afar are two different things. The person that's forechecking you as a defenseman that's right on your ass, jersey to jersey, has no fear of you at all. None. He's not no fear of getting hit, getting hurt, getting physically mauled. Well, Chris Pronger did that in his career. That's why guys used to reach for him. Keanu Miller is starting to learn that a little bit, and I agree with you over the last few weeks. I've seen him hit a few guys. I've seen him push back after whistles. If he starts to learn that part of the game, the intimidating part of the game, it's basically called bluffing the opponent.
Sure.
At 6'5", 200 and whatever he is, 20 pounds, trust me, if he shows a little bit more meanness and nastiness, he will have so much more room to do what he wants with the puck ball.
Right.
He's headed in the right direction. There's no question about it.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm still going to leave Kreider for last because we've got to talk about the additions, too. The Rangers' additions that they picked up. Okay?
Talk about Lafreniere.
Well, you know what? I've never been down on him. I think a lot of people have been down on him because he's first all overall. And he's supposed to be that that stunning immediate superstar right away. Well, that just doesn't happen all the time with first round draft picks. Let's call it what it is. I think again, most first round draft picks, and I know I'm repeating myself again, folks, but this is the truth. Go look it up. They usually go to shit teams right off the bat. When I say shit teams, like the bottom three.
Right.
Well, the Rangers weren't great, but they weren't shit either. Right. So he went to a team that already had Zibanejad, already had Kreider, already had Panarin, already had Kakko. I mean, guys ahead of them. I'm not saying that they were doing great, Kakko or anything like that. But you know what I mean? Like, so where are you going to take the minutes away from certain guys right off the bat?
Right.
How are you going to do that?
Right.
You take the minutes away when you look at a team that's filled with AHL guys, like the bottom three. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's where you get the time. People don't understand that. And he has bounced around from line to line, but he's finding his way. He's making some moves on his own now, creating opportunities to get shots off by making a move. I've noticed the last couple of weeks, skating down, putting a move on a defenseman to give himself an open shot. The only thing I'd like to see him do is hit the damn net. He had a couple last night where they were great scoring opportunities, but he didn't hit the net. But other than that, I agree with you. He's going to be okay. Just give him a little bit more time, give him a little bit more experience, and he'll get better. And like you said, the attitude, he's got the great attitude. You can tell he's a team first guy. Period. Plain and simple.
He's having fun. I mean, how can you not be?
How can you not be? You're playing in New York City. I mean, come on.
New York City on a damn good team right now with some, like you said, you mentioned some names. I've been watching him more and more and more because, obviously at the beginning of the season, everyone's like, where is he? Where is he? You can't see him. And it's not like he's being, flashy or crazy or anything, but there's little things that I've noticed more and more about his game. Like you said, he's driving the net more, he's puck handling more, and he's doing the little things. He's playing smart defensively. He's coming back. He's trying to win puck battles. He's just – I feel like he's growing into –
how about yesterday when they threw Heedle out of the faceoff circle? He goes in, wins the faceoff, drop back to Namath, and he ends up deflecting the puck in.
Yeah. So Yeah.
He's like right now he's like a Mr. Gadget for that team.
Yep.
You know, it's a little everything.
And he's smiling and enjoying it, and you can see. But
You're 20 years old, and you're playing for the New York Rangers, your team's doing well. I mean, but he, this is something that he had all along when he was a junior. He was a team guy, team-oriented guy.
Right. So let me ask you this before we move on to a couple other players. But talk about the additions, Kotz. I think it's important as a Ranger fan to understand what Chris Drury did and how well he did it, to be honest, and how little he had to really give up.
That's the key right there, what you just said.
So go ahead and talk about it.
Well, like everybody was waiting for the big splashy move. Like, there's so many top. Well, who's the top defenseman to be traded? Who's the top this? Who's the top that? Well, it's always great to be able to make a big splash when you think your team's on the verge of winning a Stanley Cup. But I think Chris Drury was pretty damn smart in this trade deadline. He went out there and he studied a few players. Like Frankie Vetrano was way before the deadline itself. They picked him up a week before. I mean, I'm trying to think if I watched this guy when I was doing Quinnipiac University, where he came from in college. I can't remember, but the name sounds familiar. But where they picked him up from was he was on a team that was top 6 heavy already.
Yeah.
Think about it. Where are you going to squeeze this guy in there? You know what I mean? Where the Rangers are still as good as the Rangers' record is, Paulie, and as good a season they've had so far in points and all this stuff, they're still looking for that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th player. I think they got top 5 players on the front. You're still looking for that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, which means part of the second line and some of the third line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And getting him, he's got explosiveness. He's got great skating ability. Loves to shoot the puck. And I think it's a good fit for him. It might work out for him long term here. Okay?
I hope so. I love him.
That's what I see on him. A guy like Tyler Mott, I mean, here's another guy experienced. Both guys are experienced, okay? All of the guys they picked up have playoff experience.
Yep.
That's the other good thing. And that's really a pretty good thing when you think about it in the end. Tyler Mott's, he's like I think he's like an upgrade from McKay, basically. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a player. He'll kill penalties. He'll be out there. He'll add a goal or two here and then. He's not gonna make very many mistakes. The guy that could be the wild card in all this is Andrew Copp. Okay, he's another one that was behind a lot of really good players.
Yeah.
In Winnipeg there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of and I think he's got the ability to show more with the Ranger team offensively than he did with the Winnipeg team.
He's got great versatility is what I like about him.
Yeah, I mean, and Justin Braun, I mean, obviously he only played one game so far, and it was a tough game for him. It was a tough game for everybody, if I remember correctly. He wasn't the only one that had a tough game, but I think you're going to see him more and more as the stretch of the season comes on. You're going to need a little bit more size back there. But really, the trick to it all is what you said on your fourth point. It didn't cost them shit.
Yeah.
What did it cost them? Morgan Barron?
Yeah.
That's the only name that I remember.
Yeah.
The defenseman they brought up last year, it cost him to go to, it cost them nothing. And here's the kicker. If it doesn't work out with any one of these guys, Paulie, guess what? They're now on long-term albatross contracts.
Right.
You're not going to get saddled with this guy for $3 million here, $4 million there, $6 million here. They're all around one. I think the highest paid guy is like just under $2 million of them all.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So you're not going to get saddled in a salary cap situation here.
Right.
And I'm hoping it works out, but I think Chris Drury did a great job at filling in the depth part. Now it's up to these guys and the existing guys to figure it out between themselves. Look, I want to fucking play. Excuse my French, people, but I want to play. So I better get my ass in gear. And I better start playing the way Gerard Gallant wants me to so I can stay in the lineup. Because guys that were automatically penciled in aren't going to be automatically penciled in anymore.
Well, here's the guy I want to see come back. For one, I want to talk about Braun because I want Ranger fans to understand that though I love the man's heart, to me, the odd man out I'm not a big Lindgren fan. I'm really not. I like him. I love his heart, but I think he's a little small for the position. And I think we need to be bigger back there. I think, especially when the playoffs come, we need to be bigger and stronger in the back end. And, Trouba is that guy. Keanu Miller is not physical enough, as we said, but he does have a great reach. He can use his body to shield well. Adam Fox is Adam Fox. I know he's not the greatest defenseman when it comes to defense, but the upside of his ability to see the ice, to make the great pass, to score the power play goal, to do all those things. I think I think he's the odd man out unless, I'd like to see more physicality back there. I think Braun could bring that. He's a veterans type of player. He's a little bit bigger in stature. I think he could do better in the corners and in front of the net. And I think it's an important position come playoff time.
Well, I get where you're coming from, but I disagree with you. I mean, you take Lindgren off. Who are you going to match Fox up with then as a partner? I'm just throwing it at you. I'm not trying to be funny here. I just think are you going to put him with Nemeth? Are you going to put him with Keanu Miller? Because then you got a load of right-handed shot defensemen if you bring Braun into the lineup. I'm just can any of those four guys, Fox, Braun, Kreider, Trouba, can they easily go to the left side and play the left side?
What about Nemeth? Nemeth? No.
Well, again, Nemeth's he's left-handed. Obviously, Keanu Miller's left-handed. Lindgren's left-handed. So who do you put him with? Who do you put Fox with? Because I'm going to be deadly honest here. Fox is very average defensively.
I know.
You talk about small.
But
he's very average defensively. Okay, let's get that straight.
And I get that.
His intangibles make up for that negative. No question. I mean, what you said, passing, being able to see the play ahead of time, setting up players for easy goals, all that crap. I mean, he's phenomenal with that stuff. But he's really average as a defensive defenseman.
And there's no disagreement.
I'm trying to figure out who you put him with then.
Well, I still think
there's no Jeff Bukaboom anymore that plays left-handed defense. Like Leach and Bukaboom. Remember that would be a perfect match, but you need somebody that's a stable type guy.
What are you going to do with Braun? Who's the odd man out?
I think what you're going to see is you're probably going to see. But my gut guess is the odd men out are going to be whoever's playing shitty on the bottom 3-6. Okay,
right.
They have a bad game or two in a row. That's when you're going to start seeing musical chairs. And you know what? That's not a bad thing to have to keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
not a bad thing to have.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
Well, I didn't play a lot of playoffs in my career, but I can remember playing in Toronto the 3 years that I actually played without being hurt. By the time the playoffs came around, honestly, we had 6 defensemen dressed, but we played 4 defensemen probably second period on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll see that in the playoffs where you're not going to play all 6 defensemen regularly. It's going to come down to 4 or 5 guys.
What's the update on Sammy Blake? I mean, he's the odd man.
I heard he's skating.
I mean, you put that man in the lineup.
Yeah, I heard he's skating. That's all I can tell you.
I mean,
is he skating hard? Is he skating with the idea that he's going to make the old, win one for the Gipper try, in the playoffs, which seems to happen in hockey quite often.
I've become a big fan of Dryden Hunt. I love the way this guy plays hockey, man.
I just wish he'd be able to finish some more. I think again you're gonna see like some of these guys that they picked up, playing musical chairs back and forth until Gerard Gallant likes what he sees in this line, that line, that line.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that I wanted to talk about too. Is I post a lot of stuff about the Rangers, after the game about what I thought. I mean, I'm usually right to the point. A lot of people disagree and all that, but how hard it is for a coach to have this many players and try to figure out who's in the lineup night in, night out without really causing friction in the dressing room.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do. Because I can remember, and I'm not going to mention any teammates, but I played in Hartford, Toronto. The guys that knew we were going to play, we never had a problem walking into the rink that night, okay? But there was guys that didn't know from the morning till they got to the rink that night, and how you found out was if your sweater was hanging in your stall or not.
Right.
Like I've never seen a lot of faces walk into the dressing room and not see their sweater hanging in their stall and just turning around with a big FUC and leaving.
Right.
So Gerard Gallant's done a pretty good job, I think, being able to keep everything to a point. Maybe there are some angry guys, but you know what? The lid's being kept on it. So I think Gerard Gallant deserves a lot of credit too.
Okay.
Listen, he was a no nonsense guy when I played against him. I think he's a fair guy. I think he probably tells you the truth, what he thinks, whether you agree with him or not. No bullshit. That's just the way he is.
Yeah. I've been very happy as a Ranger fan of what I've seen from Gallant. I'm so impressed with Chris Drury. I can't tell you.
Listen, Paulie, I'll say it. He might be a better GM than he was a player for the Rangers.
Oh yeah, Listen, Chris Drury came to us late in his career, and he did what he could. But I'm just very impressed with what he put together. I mean, listen, just going out and getting guys like Sammy Blake and getting Ryan Reeves and getting Johnny Barclay Goodrow. I mean,
we wish it was Johnny Goodrow. No offense to Barclay, but
yeah. I mean, you got to really sit back, scratch your head, and say, "Wow, where has this been?" From a guy who doesn't have a ton of experience in the big chair.
Well, you know what? Again, you and I talked about it. We talked about it a little bit. He sat back there. They hired him as an assistant to Jeff Gorton, and he sat back there and watched.
Yeah.
Okay, and listened. And he probably had a little input every now and then because they're both, from the East Coast, Gorton and him. And he sat back and watched, and he watched other teams. He probably, he was experienced enough as a player, as a captain, to understand the ins and outs a little bit. So I like what I like about him is you don't hear much about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where a lot of GMs in the league seem to they like the limelight. They're always in the news, or they're always in the paper, or they're always on TV. And Drury's he keeps his cards close to his vest, and he keeps quiet about everything. And I think that's a smart thing to do these days, because of all the media and all the garbage that gets thrown out there. What might be happening, what might not be happening. I think he's done a great job, and I give him a lot of credit. And the team is set with these pickups, as far as I'm concerned. Are they a Stanley Cup contender totally? You know what I say now? Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Every time we've looked for them to take a dive or take a shit or crap it out, guess what's happened?
They haven't.
They come right back after a crap game. They come right back, win 3 or 4 in a row. They've beaten all the top teams in the East.
Yes.
They have the best record against the teams in the East. Okay? So, and with the goaltender, Shesterkin. Now, before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget, Chris Kreider. There was a time where I said to you he would never score 30 goals. And he teasingly came close How many times?
Yeah.
And I said, what was the reason why he was never going to score 30 goals? Because he didn't go to the net and hang out there. Well, it's happening now.
Yeah.
The man, first of all, give him a lot of credit for another thing, too. He is another one that's so team-oriented. He's a team guy all the way. I've seen him step in when guys are pushing around on the ice. I've seen him drop the gloves, jumping in on guys. I see him laughing with guys on the ice, joking with guys on the ice. They obviously love this guy. But what he's learned, and it took him a while, is to understand what are his strengths. He's 6'3". I know he lost weight. He used to be a lot heavier. He's probably like only 220 now. Wow, only 220. He can skate. He skates like it's a freight train, but with sonic speed.
Yeah.
The power is there. Yeah, he can shoot the puck through the boards. But that's not his forte now. Get to the net, Chris. They can't move you. Listen, we'd have trouble moving him in our days that strong. Where we'd have to cross-check him and smack him in the back of the head and do all that dirty shit that we got away with back then. We'd have a tough time with him now because he's that strong and he's hard to move.
Right.
He's learned from what everybody keeps telling me on TV and from what everybody keeps telling me, back in the city. He spends a lot of time the last 2 years in practice deflecting, learning how to deflect the puck. That's a skill.
Yeah.
People say you just stick your stick up. No. That stick's got to be on a certain angle, certain, way for it to go the way you want it to go. Now, does it work all the time? It's one of the hardest things to do. But he's kind of mastered that a little bit.
He showed a really good deflection late last night. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, I the one there where we're in the goalie's glove. Yeah, but he scored about 6 goals like that this year.
Yeah, and I just you talk about getting a craft and becoming so skillful in that craft. That's not an easy. If people don't understand, that's not the way of that deflection. Exactly where that puck was at the time. That's completely designed and organized. That's not just waving your stick out there. That's exact angling of your stick. That is a craft in itself. And to see that deflection last night, a lot of people don't understand how hard it is and, just everything about it. And I didn't mean
that deflection, the way you're talking about it, if you go back and look at the 46 goals this year, I guarantee I'm going to bet on at least 5 he scored like that.
Absolutely.
The puck is 3 feet wide of the net. Okay. The goaltender feels that it's behind him already. And Kreider is technically, his stick is behind the goalie.
Yeah.
More than in front of it when he does that. So there's very little room for it to get in there. But he scored, I think, at least 5 like that this year. Yeah. And it's really a set play.
Yep.
Okay?
It is.
But better than that, Paulie, I think he's learned what it takes to be that kind of a goal scorer.
Yeah.
It took a long time. It took a real long time. I mean, he was always a team guy, always a guy on the cusp. But I think people thought he was going to be more of a stick handler, swift, slinky type move. I'm going to beat the defenseman. I'm going to make him look bad. I'm going to beat the goalie and put it upstairs where the peanut butter is type goal scorer. No. I told you that when he got here. And I stood by that. But now, he's found the formula. And he should get 50 for sure.
So one thing I want to give a lot of the fans an insight for, and this is what excites me about the program that we do, the show that we do. And it's bringing you an insight that I never hear in the commercials, in the commercial brand of the NHL. And when Chris talks to me, I know Chris for better part of 10 years now. We talk a lot of hockey. We talk about a lot of things. Chris said...
All your ex-girlfriends.
Chris said from the beginning, he said, about many players, not just Kreider, but many players. But he said they have to learn to play to what their potential is, what their game is, what they mean to the team and at their strengths. And for the longest time, Chris said, this guy isn't what they want him tagged to be. He's the guy who's a big body guy who needs to drive the net, who needs to stand in front of the net, doesn't need to be puck handling the puck. Needs to dump, get in deep, use his feet, and use his body. And for the longest time, I mean, he's what? He's got to be what? 8 years with the Rangers now?
Well, I think he's going on 10 seasons now.
10 seasons.
Yeah.
And like Kotze said, he's dangled on the line of 30 goals. He's been a 20-goal scorer. He's at 46 goals. I wouldn't doubt he hits 50 goals this year. I think the last guy to do that is who? Gabrick maybe? Or Jaromir Jagr?
I think it was Jagr.
Okay. I mean, look at the name. And if this guy has finally, after 10 seasons, put his understanding and his game together, it's important to understand that there's other players that I see and other people see. I think for some reason the blossoming comes later than it ever did when Chris played the game. Because when Chris played the game, if you didn't put your game together, then there was another guy right next to you. With Chris Kreider, it's been 10 years, but this should have been his game all along. He's a big-bodied guy. You know, he's not a puck carrier, but he could be. He's definitely a power forward, and he could make a living in front of the net. And like Kotze said, especially with today's day and age, with the new rules where you can't cross-check him, you can't beat him up there, you can't make him really pay a price, you can't move him. He's nobody penciled Chris Kreider in this year for 50 goals.
No.
And if you did, you're lying.
Yeah, I would agree. But it clicked, and good for the Rangers. But, I will add this too, Paulie. You and I, we discussed it for years. It's not that we never said he wasn't a very good player. He was a very good player still.
Yeah.
But now he's an excellent player.
He's playing to his full potential.
He's an excellent player now. He's a top echelon player in the National Hockey League now.
Right.
He's gone above being a very good player to an excellent hockey player.
Right.
And he's basically a star now.
Yep.
But I don't think he likes that part personally. I think he's more team orientated guy. The way he acts, the way he talks. I've met him a couple times. But I'm happy for him, man. You know what? What is the highest goals for the Rangers? Is it Jagr with 54? I think he's got a shot at that.
Yeah, I think Jagr. Yeah.
I think that's the most goals the Rangers ever scored, though, right? 54? And if that's the case, there's still 16 games left. Or how many games left? 12, 14?
I don't know. What does Gilbert score for the Rangers?
Rod Gilbert never scored 50. No.
What about Espo?
The only guys that never scored 50 for the Rangers, as far as I know, are Adam Graves, Vic Hadfield, and Jaromir Jagr. That's it that I remember.
Well, anyway, I don't know. Do you have any other subjects or players you want to discuss right now?
No, I think, for our first show back, considering, you had a load doing your house and going to Vegas and coming back at the end of the month, a day at BMW there, I'll give you a break, but we got to get going again, and I'm going away for 3-4 days, and then we're gonna hit it up again next week, and we're gonna be consistent. Hopefully, every week from here on to the Stanley Cup is being carried somewhere.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean,
let me know when it's about 62 degrees down there. I might catch a flight down there one day.
Yeah. Well, we're going to the upper side now, so. I want to have you here. I want to get you here for a couple of days, and maybe we'll do a show side by side right here, and that'll be fun too.
That'd be good.
That'll be fun.
We're gonna do it.
But
I'm definitely planning on coming down, so just keep that in mind and just make sure the air conditioning's on in that guest room there.
it is, big boy. It is.
It better be on high.
I'll keep it at 65 for you there, big boy.
I can always put something on to keep warm. If you can't take that slimy, oily shit of heat off you when it's hot.
Oh, man.
Someday you'll figure it out.
I love it here, buddy. Love
I
it.
know you do.
Love it here. I've been here 20, I think it's going to be 25 years in May.
Well, it's probably the best run state in the country right now.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
I don't care if people don't like that. It's a fact, people. They know what they're doing down in Florida, except for Disney.
There's a reason why over 100,000 people come here a month for residency. So this is one of the fastest growing. It's the number one in the housing market. The reason why I purchased again, because housing is becoming crazy here because people are moving here. It's becoming a metropolis. I love the Tampa Bay area. It's just growing and growing and growing. And I mean, you know, with the world that we live in today, it's nice. It's a nice place, you know. So with that being said, it's nice to be back. You know, we'll be back here on a consistent basis now that everything's settled. I can't wait. The next couple of weeks, I'm really going to work hard on getting the studio together because I'm pretty excited about all the things there. You know, I haven't had a home studio for a couple of years now, so I'm pretty excited.
You're going to be professional again.
Yes.
Professional.
Yes. Going to have a bunch of stuff.
Me, I'm just going to be right here with all my toys and all my gadgets.
And I got some memorabilia. So with that being said, man, it's been a good show. Good night. I hope everybody enjoyed. Make sure everyone shares it. Please subscribe. Get everyone to subscribe. I'm going to post this up in the Instigators Hockey Show Facebook group and anywhere else. So share. Barry, we love you, man. And, you know, I appreciate the support and everything from Barry Shelley. Make sure you check out Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
The guy's phenomenal. He has the coolest stuff in all the world, and he's just a great guy, and I'm so glad to be affiliated with him. Also, Beth, we love you. Yes. Get better. Very proud of you. You're kicking butt, and you're not taking any names, and you know, we appreciate everything that Beth does. Beth works so hard for us. She's going through so much. So keep her in your thoughts and your prayers, and give her a shout out. And I'll reach out and get her address and send it over to you.
Yeah, please do.
All right. With that, good night. See you guys in a week or so. Bada bing.